Officially, here we go.
Official start. Start again.
Here
Start
we
again.
go.
How are you feeling, Suze?
I'm feeling a bit nervous.
Why?
Yeah. Why are you interviewing me? Hello, you gorgeous human beings. It is Suzy Ashworth here, and you are listening to the Infinite Receiving podcast. And for those of you who are regular listeners, you might have just heard a voice that you are familiar with.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
But I have a little surprise for you because I don't just have one voice today. This is actually the first time I have ever recorded with a couple on my podcast at the same time.
Ooh.
So I want to give the warmest, juiciest, closest, most magnificent welcome to the gorgeous Regan and Hillyer and JuanPa Barahona. Welcome to the podcast. How the fuck are you?
So good.
Really good. I love that you say my full name. Like, no one ever calls me by my full name unless it's my mother when I'm 5 years old telling me, oh, Regan and Hillyer, get over here.
And I loved my new name because I like it more than my name now.
How do I pronounce your
you
name?
said
I can't pronounce it either, don't worry. I can't.
It's Barahona.
Barahona.
Yeah, but Baranova, I love that.
feel
It's like Bossa Nova.
Yeah, Baranova. Oh, no.
It works for me better because I
think
find your
wanna
last
change it.
name very hard to actually pronounce.
Yeah, it's kind of Barahona.
But you don't even say the H in Spanish.
No,
say
you
it
say
properly.
Barahona.
There we go. See,
Well, that's why. So I was
Barahona.
kind of close.
Yeah. But I like Baranova.
I mean, that means that I've known you for 8 years
Yes.
not 8 years, maybe 7 years.
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
It's a long time, and I've been saying
A while.
your name wrong the whole time.
No.
You know, I was saying his name wrong for like 3 years of actually
Being my
dating
wife.
him because I just really struggled to say his first name.
Yeah.
But then I learned how to say it.
She now knows.
Yeah.
But you
We
said
know.
the first one really well.
You did.
JuanPa
JuanPa.
and Barahona.
And so I'm not even going to try. I thought about it.
Don't worry about the
I got
second.
in my head. So this is a first.
Yes.
And for people who, like I say, listen a lot, they will have heard me say that another interview was my highest interview. And then I actually looked at my stats, and the most listened to guest interview on my podcast is the one that I recorded almost a year ago
Wow.
to the month. I wouldn't say to the day, but we were in Amsterdam together
Yeah.
last year, just before, in fact, it was just after your birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. For the
Crazy.
biohacking conference that we were in
Yeah.
Amsterdam.
Yeah,
Yes, I
that's
remember
right.
that.
And a lot has happened in the last year. And so I'm curious. I'm going to start with you, Regan. What have been your highlights?
I don't know. I never know when you ask me this. I'm always like, everything is really amazing. Like, where do I start? I think one of the highlights is I feel that for myself, but for both of us, we're just in this like portal of expansion right now. It's the only way I can put it. And so many different like dreams and prayers and visions are coming in and anchoring into reality and just like opening up in such a grand and beautiful way, in a way that I couldn't really, I guess, conceive or construct from the mind. And so many of our projects have just like kind of somehow hit the acceleration button, like really, really, really fast, from our teachings to the nest as well, and everything that has been created on the ground in Costa Rica, to even, visibility online, like so many things. It's like they all just kind of got the accelerate button,
Yeah.
especially in the last few months, I feel. So it's a fun time to be having this conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have any standout moments over the last year for you?
Many.
Mm.
Yeah. I feel so grateful because it's when you think it can't get better, it keeps getting better in every way. I feel the relationship between us, it's just deeper, more refined, just really more more connected to all the layers of our beings. So that's like, such a gift. The relationship with our son, it's amazing. He's really thriving also right now. He went through a crisis a little bit last year. So we were with him and supporting him, and so beautiful how it brought us deeper together. So family wise, it's amazing. Our flow. As Regan said, the nest is just a dream come true that keeps expanding, and we're having like the most amazing people coming, wanting to live there and feeling attracted to it, and without us doing much. It's just really seeing the power of magnetizing, materializing, manifesting from that space of the heart. Yeah. And as Regan said, our business is also like together, and personally too. With me, Quantum Flow, I am very, very grateful what's happening with Quantum Flow around the world, and also with all the teachers and their success, and just so much to celebrate in life. Yeah, in health, in energy. I feel so good right now too. I also went through a crisis like 3 years ago, kind of burned out.
Yeah.
When we started the nest, it was so much. I had so many challenges on site, being there, the Costa Rican, having to solve everything with everyone and the government, and right, like so much going on that it was deep, and it just got me to such a powerful space. You know, the resilience that you build after, and then you feel like just so good and grounded and centered, but it comes from such a deep place. So that's why I say, like, I just feel as I've never felt before that way right now.
Oh, I love the way that you start with relationship.
Mm.
And what is really quite beautiful for me is having seen your relationship over the years. And the thing that struck me today when we were hanging out earlier on is that the playfulness is still
Definitely still there.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really present, which is, I think, quite unique. I think maybe you expect that after 2 years or 3 years, but you're 8 years in. How is that maintained? What do you think that is?
Yeah, I feel it's firstly our own connection to our inner child, you know, and nurturing that and embodying that, and just be like being in this vibration of fun and play. I feel it's healing, and it's activating, and it's expansive, and it's such a key code that people miss, like themselves and in relationships. You know, we were on this other podcast the other day, and they were asking us like this very serious question around, like, you know, the biggest unlock of self-mastery and It was very like a loaded question, and JuanPa's silent, and then he's like, your connection to your inner child.
Yes.
Like, really. And we have so much fun with it. Like, it's a little ridiculous. Like, I know, you know, you see us here and there, but really, like 24/7, like we play so much and we have so much fun with it, right?
Yeah, it's just life. It's not like, you know, when you start, you're like, okay, let me just laugh more, or let me just like kind of be a kid. And it's not something to try. Like, it's something you actually unravel. You open up, and we can't do it for anyone else. It needs to be our own commitment to like let go of the story, let go of the seriousness, let's go of the box. Like, oh, now I'm an entrepreneur. Now I'm an adult. Now I'm making money. Now I have a huge business. I need to behave in this or that way, right? Very unconsciously, it can get in there, and now I have to have this mask with my wife because she can never see me as like, we've seen of each other absolutely everything, and we love every part of each other. We've seen all of it, and there's nothing more freeing and liberating that we can express that and be that, and still just love each other. And then after we have the deepest conversation and like points that are so deep that you just kind of want to run away, you know, because it do touch you, and your ego wants to react, you know. But we've built this dynamic where we're just present for each other. We're allowed to melt, and then to be, you know, rewired into love, because that's all we're doing. We are love. So let's just come back to love, allow that to happen through the body. And then just naturally seeing how after, I don't know, half an hour, 20 minutes, like take a little time to integrate. And then it's like nothing happened. We're playing again. We're having fun. We're just, okay, what's next? Let's build this multi-million-dollar business right now. Let's go. But it's all fun. Like it doesn't really matter what we're doing. It's about the vibration, the frequency. So that's something that we don't even need to remind each other. Hey, can we just play? Like you just ruin it if you do it like that, right? It becomes boring.
Forced fun.
Yes. So I love it. I love it so much. It's just light. Life becomes light. It's just not that heaviness that I can say I used to have a lot when we met. Oh my God, she helped me a lot. I had this connection with my inner child that I could get in playful, especially having my son and like always playing with him. But the moment I got into a relationship, I would get so serious.
I'm like, hey, why are you so serious?
And I'm
Stop
like,
it.
because this is for a reason. This is a conscious relationship. We need to talk about absolutely everything that we're feeling, everything we're seeing, every part of ourselves. This is an experiment. If not, I'm not into this. Like, that's the only way I want a relationship, like fixated, right? And I mean, she was into it, but oh my God, sometimes it was too much.
Way too much. Not sometimes. Like it was way too much. Like we literally had conversations where I was like, babe, I'm all in. I'm doing the work. I want to use this as a divine mirror. I promise I'm going to see myself at some point. But like, can we just take a break? Can we just play and have fun and go to the beach and not talk about like what's happening with our chakra system or a wound from when we were 4 years old? Like I need a breath, you know?
Yeah.
And I think we balanced each other out in that way as well. Because there were also parts of me from my previous relationship where I was also like scared to use the relationship as a mirror, you know? So something would come up and my defense mechanism would be like to run away from it or, oh, no, I'm fine. It doesn't matter. Or just like bypass it or shut it down or not feel it, you know? So I think we both really helped each other in that way. I got to lean more into it, but then I was like, not that much. Like we also get to play.
Yeah, it's true. Like, right, when you go to both extremes, but you're able to see yourself, it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It doesn't matter where you're at. What matters is like, can we see ourselves raw and real and just say, okay, for her, yeah, I'm kind of in the surface because of this and this and this story that I lived. And for me, I actually wanted to go that deep and I wasn't able to, in my last relationship. And I was like, I'm so ready. I'm hungry for just talking about every little part of me that I also want to burn down. It wasn't about her. I wanted to tell her like everything, just like unveil until she was like, okay.
I'm curious. The way that I describe you or have described you in the past is I feel like you are the epitome of the divine masculine. You're the epitome of the divine feminine. You have the king, you have the queen, empress. Like that is the vibe that I get when I am with you. How was it for you when JuanPa had his crisis? How did that impact you?
You mean like in the beginning?
He said 3 years ago.
With the nest.
3 years ago. Yeah. I mean, I think we supported each other through it. I like there was a moment where he was so burnt out that he just like lost his voice completely. Like his voice disappeared. He's like, I can't talk. Like it literally like went. Even it couldn't even say that actually. It was like silence. Like you couldn't physically talk. And so I think together we got to look at like how did you get to that point? What happened? And some 3D pieces, especially with the nest and that project around like what better team and support and infrastructure gets to be like built in place in order to avoid this happening again. And then also like what parts of you were like kind of almost trying to control all these pieces and wanting to like do it all and save it all. And like, we had a lot of conversations where it was like, yes, like there could have been more 3D support. And there was like also a part of him like not allowing it, if that makes sense. And so, I feel like we navigated it well. And it was like the pendulum swing. He had to like, he chose to fully like go offline 2-3 weeks, recover your voice, like literally live in a hole in silence. And it was a big one, just even like respecting that, even for me, like wanting to tell him something, but then being like, okay, no, he's like silence guy right now. Like we kind of have conversations, like, you know, it was like also challenging and there were struggles with that for sure. But yeah, for me, like really meeting him where he was at and supporting that process and also learning from it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such a lesson of letting go. Because, you know, I had done a lot of the work of being in flow. This is what I teach, right? So I think it's also like the way the universe shows these things. Oh, yeah, you really are in flow? All right. Let's see when I put you in this situation to develop a land that you've never done in your life. I've never been like develop a land for a community and for a wellness retreat resort center that became huge. Like all these things I had no idea. But when they start coming up, I'm like, you know, how perfectionist and obsessed I am with detail. So I brought that to this huge project. So just looking at all the details from construction to our connection with the workers and the government and absolutely everything, like nature, like everything had to be impeccable. But in the Costa Rican government too, and with the rhythm of the Costa Rican workers, which is amazing. I understand, I am from there, right? But I have another mentality now because of my lifestyle and what I've created. So I can see it from a different place, but it was almost confronting that from a place like, I can't. This can't be. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change their culture. I'm going to help them. This needs to be different. Keep trying. You're going to burn out. And that's what happened. And I wasn't listening. Like my body was telling me a lot, but I kept pushing and pushing. And then, you know what it is to have many things. I was actually, having 250 teachers in my quantum flow training at that time. So I had to be taking care of them. I was writing my book. I was starting a documentary. I had all these other people that wanted to partner with me and I wanted to do it with everyone. I wasn't saying no to anything.
Yeah.
Right. And this is like, okay, that's the biggest lesson of listen to your soul and not the ego. It all needs to be done now. Like, why? So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest lessons of my life. And I did feel very supported with Regan and with the workers, with my family, with life. It was great. We navigated it really well. Even my son, everybody respected because of the connection we had built as a family. But yeah, it was tough.
I need to ask about Danny. Obviously not his story because he's not here, but I am curious from a parental perspective, because I think the thing that I hear as you're sharing is that you were learning about releasing control and you're practicing the art of acceptance. That's what I heard from you. You didn't need one part to change in order to speed up the process. There was acceptance there. And I think that then when it comes to children, sometimes there's another level of needing to relinquish control at the same time as just wanting to scoop them up and make them better. And so how have you dealt with his crisis and moving through that?
Meeting him where he was at.
Yeah. Listening
to him, not wanting to change anything, like help him feel good where he was at. It was all perfect. And I never had that. I mean, I had it in a certain way, but our parents are not perfect, of course. They have those patterns that they carry. I know they did the best they could. But a lot in my family was like, there's always more. Why didn't that happen? What's the black dot in the white piece of paper? It was very ingrained and I had those patterns in me. So then with Danny, it was like, okay, how do we not repeat that? And really be there for him and listen to him and just be present for him. So I think that was what really helped, where he felt safe and he didn't feel judged. And he felt like he could share and open and share from his deepest what was going on. So we could really help him. Many times there's so many walls, we don't know where they are really. They say one thing, but really, are they there? What's really going on? And if you tell them what you think, what's going on, which could be accurate, but they're going to many times just reject it and say no. So how do we approach it from a place of being open and receptive and really allowing them to feel safe?
Yeah. And I feel it was also about not trying to program him into what we thought he should be or doing or
Yeah.
shifting into or deciding or seeing or anything of that, but instead, putting any of those like thoughts and projections basically aside, even if they were like good ones, and instead asking him questions and, letting him come to his own like realization of what he wants and what he doesn't want and what feels good to him and what doesn't feel good, and letting him explore that, and there was this moment, when he was like, oh, last year he traveled through Europe for like 4 months by himself as a 17-year-old, right? And he came back totally burnt out and exhausted. He was sleeping in hostels, he wasn't eating well, he was just like going crazy like a 17-year-old, right? And then he was like, okay, I think I want to travel this year too, but like not in the same way, but I don't know how else I would do it. And so, we started asking him, all these questions and exploring with him. And then he started coming with all these ideas. He's like, maybe I'll go to like this country and this community and like volunteer for a month. And then he's like, maybe I'm going to go to Australia and do like a work exchange. We're like, maybe, cool. He's like, maybe I'm going to do this, right? And like just letting him like try on all these options without making them good or bad or right or wrong, but just allowing him to like find his inner compass and like feel where that direction point is without trying to like sway it and be like, yeah, but it'd be better if you did this because of that, and just like really letting him feel it. And I mean, now he's in Germany with like an amazing group of other teenagers, and they're creating this whole like secret society of like meetups and community of like teens that get together and change the world as entrepreneurs. So he's listening, and he's trying that on right now.
Yeah. And he's feeling amazing, so empowered, because he knows he chose it too.
Yeah.
And that he's supported, but on the back. We're not forcing anything for him more than like, okay, man, we're here for you. And you'll feel the consequences. You don't do it because of us. You do it because it's your life. So when they feel that and they own that responsibility and they really see the effects, because you're letting them, you're giving them that freedom. They understand that, okay, I remember him as a kid, like being addicted to sugar, right? And I was like, no, I'm a nutritionist. And like, no way, sugar is so bad. No way. Like always saying so. And of course, he was obsessed more with sugar because that is like the opposite, right? So I would see him hiding and eating all this stuff underneath or going to parties and then coming like really messed up because he had so much sugar. Of course, it's normal. So I'm like, okay, let's, what ice cream is your favorite? I'll get it for you. I brought him a 1 gallon of ice cream, cookie cream, and it's all for you. Eat it all you want. What, Dad? Oh my God, he went crazy for like 1/4 of the gallon, whatever, right? And then after he started almost vomiting and just felt so bad, and he felt the consequences. And I just asked the questions. Okay, how are you feeling? So what happened? So what does sugar do on you? Like he got it like himself by the experience. And of course, a container that's holding him, supporting him, loving him. And never again. I mean, still had it here and there, but it wasn't that obsession. And then with time, and now he's super balanced. Like he knows. But it's on and off. It comes on and off. And we keep learning. It's like different layers. So he was eating amazing with us in the land, in the nest. Everything is organic, everything from the land. Like, of course, he's a Tarzan there, getting the coconuts and the fruit, and like he's amazing. But when he goes out again, all this would wake up in him. So that's what happened when he went on this trip alone. Again, nothing. And then he was doing his own money from his own company, and like it's like, oh, saving the money and going into scarcity. So maybe sometimes only eating bread or cheese, things like this, that he started seeing the consequences. And again, learned the lesson. And now I feel, right, he's so balanced. He's doing really well right now.
What I hear is this is the practice, your practice of letting go. And that takes, I want to use the word self-control, but maybe self-discipline is a better word for this. I'm curious, when was the last time you had to remind yourself to let go of control, wanting to control something or someone?
I don't know. Not that I can consciously remember, but I think I'm quite attuned to like doing that very fast in the moment, if that makes sense. So I don't think for me there's like a huge moment where I was like, oh my God, I need to let it go. But it's more like little micro things. If I'm like responding to a team member and then I'm like, actually, let me write this response in a way where it empowers their leadership instead of me trying to like control them to think a certain way. I think it's more like those little pieces. And I think I'm often like looking for those actually. Yeah.
JuanPa?
I think my biggest lesson was 3 years ago. That was my big lesson. And because everything else in my life was pretty much in flow. It was when this huge 3D project came that just woke up parts in me that I wasn't, like a wild horse. Woke up and I just want it all now and in my own way. So it was the biggest lesson and I learned it deeply. And from there, even with the nest, even with this project, I feel really free. Same as Regan. Like I see it, I see the patterns.
Yeah.
I want to control in a certain way, but it doesn't. It's like not reacting to it.
Sure.
Because that's what I feel when it comes. The thought could come in in so many areas, but you watch the thought, you feel even the emotion, the frustration wanting to get in. It's like, hey, no, I'm not feeling this anymore. This neurocircuitry, I'm not going to light up this fire. So this becomes bigger. So let me breathe. Let me feel where it's coming from, if it's to see, and release it. And then if I need to respond, I do. And if many times I don't even need to respond. It's more an inner work. So I think that was my biggest one.
I am not there yet. I have work to do. And it's okay.
Yeah.
The nest is looking epic. The nest is looking just magnificent. Like what I am seeing online that you have shared is just, next level. What feels most exciting about what's coming next there? Everything.
There's so much. There's everything. I mean, something that's exciting for me, I don't know whether you know this, but I did a 360 back to architecture. So we've created our own architectural firm and we're actually designing houses now.
Wow.
At the nest. And I have a beautiful team in place to support for that. So that for me personally has been like, still like my mind is like, what? Because I really thought I would never use that architecture degree, like never in a million years. And so, to kind of look back on that and to be designing our own home. And it's kind of mind blowing and cool. I'm still not quite like got my head around it.
When did you make that decision?
When did we do this? Maybe 4 months ago?
Yeah.
And what was the awareness? Were you meditating or was it just like, how did you know? How did you get to making that decision?
I think the awareness was just, I mean, we work with a lot of different architects with the nest and a lot of different teams and a lot of different people, and they're all amazing in their own right. And then, we started really seeing this vision, which we had years ago. This was a vision from 7 years ago, maybe. And we were dreaming one day and we talked about this concept of, we called it the healing house as a working name, where we were like, wouldn't it be cool if we could create houses where you go into spaces and, there's like dead houses made out of dead materials. There's like maybe natural eco houses made out of natural materials. But what if there was a house even beyond that used certain types of materials to actually activate the space energetically? So when you walk in, it's healing you. It's sending you back to your natural state. It's raising your frequency. And what if that was done with like the materials and the angles and the designs and the energetics and the geometry and like all of that? And we literally together, right? Like mapped this out. And then we were like, later, And we were always like, oh, maybe if we build a house, we'll do it that way. And we even had the vision at that stage, like 7 years ago, of like doing this for people all over the world. And so, then the nest happened and I think, came back to that vision probably about 6 months or so ago. And it was from all the different like geniuses which were coming into the nest, and this one's an expert in like biogeometry, and this one's an expert in the materials, and we kind of started seeing all the pieces, and then we're like, oh yeah, that vision, and then naturally it just clicked back in, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just, the capacity thing, I think, comes up for me because there's always so much and it all feels so big. It all feels like world changing. It all feels like the biggest download from cosmic space. Like everything is always so big. And I hear you when you say one of the biggest lessons was I said yes to everything. And now I say no to many more things. And yet still
a lot of yeses in there.
Yeah.
A lot.
So capacity is something that is, on my mind and in my heart all of the time. And I wonder what's happened with you guys to want to expand your capacity to such an extent. And well, let me ask that first. Yeah. What's happened? It's so much. So yeah, talk to me about your capacity and how you stretch it.
Yeah, well, I feel like for me, it's been more allowing it than me even wanting to stretch it. It's been like, this is who I am. This is why I'm here. And this is what's available for me, for us.
Yeah.
So it's more saying yes to that than being the ego that, oh, I want to get there. I need to get there because I need to be someone or I need to achieve something, or coming from a place that's false, which can be distorted and can actually affect us in every area, in every way. So for me, more than that, it's like listening. Okay, yes, all that is available. Perfect. I say yes to all of it. But in this moment, what feels right? So it's not like, yes, if it feels aligned to my soul and my frequency, yes, I can see it. It's all here. The ego wants it now. So I've always been a visionary, right? So I see everything. The thing is, my ego is not aligned with that power of the soul. So after I have the vision and I'm so clear because I've manifested it all my life this way, and it's always been in a certain way. I'm like, yes, and this is happening. But that is the ego wanting to come in and do it now. So it's like, okay, what feels right for now? It's the nest. Okay, let me focus fully on the nest. Let me get my team going online and all the clients, taking care of them in the best way possible so I don't have to just close my doors in every way. Let me, nurture all that in the best way and fully focus my energy because the nest needs that. And Suzy, for example, the nest was like not even in our field, right? So it's something, that's why it was like a surprise, because we were just looking for a house to live in Costa Rica because of COVID.
Yeah.
COVID happened and we're like, oh, we're going to root somewhere ground. We're paying like sometimes $5,000 a month for a house somewhere. That's amazing. What not just do our own and find a place where to just grow our plants, our food, and eat directly from the land, and just come back and always come back to your home, which we didn't have in that moment. So it happened to be Costa Rica because of COVID. And we it took us like 2 years before we were looking already a little bit. But when COVID hit, it was like, it's the now. So the moment we're going to get this land, it's like this land that was there and it was very beautiful. It was a full no. 4 a.m. in the morning, I wake up and it's like, no, this is not the land. And I have the vision of everything available. I'm like, okay, baby, this just happened. I know we're signing like today, but I just saw this. I feel it in my gut. And, it was a little bit for us like a shock for both of us. But we're like, okay, let's see if it's available. Then it's going to happen.
I said, you have 48 hours to find it. Go.
She was kind of, we were kind of
otherwise
done.
I'm just going to buy this piece of land myself and we're going to move on.
We were kind of done because we had seen many pieces of land, but it was never a yes. So it's like, no. So it's kind of playing around with it. But this one, it was it. And we had never seen this land that I was describing that I saw. It wasn't available on the market. So Regan's like, okay, this is a joke. This is you're fantasizing. You're kind of like dreaming too much, JuanPa. So let's see.
Hey, I never said you're dreaming too much.
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
say things like that.
No.
Take that back.
Yeah. What I mean
said
is
we've
like,
searched everywhere and we've never seen that. So
yeah.
where is it?
Yeah. In a way, I mean, it's like a fantasy. It doesn't exist. That's what I meant, more than not dreaming. Yes. So I call this brother that's helping us get some land, and he's got connections. And I describe him the land, and he's like, yes, this exact land arrived yesterday. Like,
he's like, it's not even listed.
It's not
on
even
my
listed.
desk. Get in the car.
It's exactly what you're describing. And we arrived, and we were both buzzing, just feeling the land, not even going to see the ocean view and the jungle, just being on the land.
Yeah.
We just looked at each other and it's like, whoa, this is it. Right. And then after that, we walk to the place where we want the house. Right. So this is going to be the house, and the land, like we feel it, both of us in the gut. It's a no, not here. It's not here. It's not here. This is for community. We're like, what community?
It's like, what community?
It's like, and it's like, okay, then we feel it is somewhere else, but that we don't have that piece of land. It's like a mountain. That's another mountain beside it. So we at the end get that piece of land, and all of a sudden it's a huge.
That's when I text you. I said, we bought another mountain yesterday.
It's
He's like, how many mountains do you have now? I'm like, I think 3.
And it keeps growing, but we're like, what are we doing with so much land? Of course, we're going to keep it as for nature, but then let's open up a community. Why not? Let's have the best people ever, with all these amazing buildings, the most amazing advanced biohacking spa, where everybody that's into longevity and energy and wellness would love to be part of it. Like, who's not going to want to be part of it? Let's call all these people in. So, it's like the vision started unfolding through us. It was never like us even wanting to get complicated. The last thing I wanted in that moment is like, okay, now I'm the developer of this land, like having so many projects on the plate, but it was so clear that it was the moment for this to unfold. So we just kept saying yes, 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 surrendering to surrendering, and then, okay, guide us wherever it's going. We're open and receptive.
What do you say no to, though? You said no to the land. I suppose what I'm hearing is that there's just a very, very clear relationship that you have with your intuition. And so the dream is the dream is the dream until it's not the dream. And then you're willing to let it go. And the next thing comes in.
Yeah. We've been saying no to many things. Like now we had just 2 people wanting to be part of the nest, for example, ready to pay. And it was a full no in our bodies. There's not even a reason. It's just intuitive. And it's like, we trust that. And then we find out about all these things after. But like you do develop that. That's a gut feeling that you have it very well developed too. We know, right? It's a gut feeling of like, it's a yes or it's a no. And sometimes, as we said before, like, is it the right moment right now for that? Because it could be a yes, but ask again, okay, is this my ego wanting to do it now? Is this the right moment for this? Or maybe it's 1 year, 2 years, allow it to unfold. So that's the things we learn to refine.
But in order for it to work for you two, there is also a deep trusting. So I can't imagine how I can exactly imagine how I would respond if we were supposed to be signing on land. And JuanPa wakes up and is like, I've had a dream. I'd be like, good for you. We're signing.
Yeah.
When was there a specific point in your relationship where you were like, I'm just going to choose to trust him? Or is it a very, does your intuition ever disagree with his intuition? Do you know what I mean? Like, when do you know when to go and when to?
Yeah. I mean, I do trust him. And I feel it's been a journey of me trusting my gut also and what I feel and discerning from a reaction. Like me in that moment was a reaction. It was like 5 a.m. and he's like telling me the money's in escrow. We went to sign at 2 p.m. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, good morning. What? Like, no, like it's not happening. Like it was pure reaction. Right. And then after I like felt into it, I was like, okay, there's something going on here. Like I'm open.
Yeah.
I'm open to it.
Super open.
And then, you speak to the guy and then I'm like, okay, of course he's saying it's on his desk. Like at that point in time, I was like, okay. But it's, I feel it's developing that within yourself. So you can also match that. And we do this for each other because we're not right 100% of the time. And there are times when he's like, yes, we're going to da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
We're definitely not.
Yeah.
And there's times where I'm like, yeah, this is the best thing. And he's like, feel into that, babe. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we do that for each other a lot, right? Our friend said even like we balance each other because sometimes like JuanPa can be like, I don't know the words he used, but it was like full fire forward almost without like thinking about it sometimes. Yes, running in that direction. And I'm more like, no. Okay, come back over here, and we balance each other in that way, but we do that in both ways too.
In both ways.
Yeah.
And I love it that we've cultivated that relationship that when the other says no, we don't keep pushing.
No, actually we're like, why
way.
not?
Exactly.
Like,
tell me more. I'm open.
Yeah.
It's never like, because I know my personality. She knows her personality.
Yeah.
We know our egos and each other's egos.
Yeah.
So since we're a team, really a team from the core, we know this. So it's like, okay, let's trust that. I'm open and receptive. Let's see how it feels. Let's take it to the pillow if it's necessary.
And we use like that to make decisions and bounce off each other. Like, for example, like a day ago, there's an opportunity in Dubai and then it kind of like shifted and changed a little bit. It wasn't quite what we agreed upon. And I was starting to feel like, I'm not quite sure we should still do this, And so then I tell him, I'm just like, okay, this has changed and it's now like this and da-da-da. What do you feel? And he's like, I'm not quite sure we should do that. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling the same, But I wanted to actually get his gut reaction because if he was like, yes, this is important for this reason, why? Then maybe that's something I'm not seeing in that moment. And he is. So I trust that. And the fact he was like, no, I was like, okay, I'm going to cancel it because I was feeling that too, So even with like kind of smaller things, we do this also. Mm-hmm.
When did you start to learn? You said it was more about you learning to trust your voice, your intuition.
Yeah.
Was there and again, I know it's never at specific moment, but what phase? How did that?
I feel it's layers of it, but also JuanPa called forward more of that in me. So in the beginning, I was almost like too much, almost like giving him the power, right? I'd always be like, what do you think? Okay, we'll do that. What do you feel? Okay, that feels, I'm a Libra. I can flow however, it's like, okay, I could go left or could go right. Like, which one do you, but okay, I'll go right too. Like, it's fine. And if it's not like a huge life decision, I'm kind of like, either or, same, like, but that was disconnecting me like from my like deep yes. And he called it forward. And this was like early in our relationship, and he was like, I want to hear what the goddess has to say. I remember him saying that to me and it like woke something up in me where I was like, what do I have to say? Why aren't I thinking to myself? And you know what? I noticed this a lot in the beginning of our relationship because when we'd be together, I would just kind of like merge into his life and I would lose my life a lot, like not in my business or things like that, but more like in my day-to-day life. Like literally like in the morning, I'd be like, would you like a cup of tea? And then I'd just make myself the same cup of tea because it's what he wanted. But do I even want that tea?
Yeah.
It's a very small thing, but I didn't realize that I was kind of getting lost and not feeling what I even wanted or needed in a moment.
Yeah.
And then I had moments where like we'd spend, a couple of days apart because he'd travel there, I'd travel there and I'd go away and I'd be like, I feel so good being by myself. And I noticed that and I was like, that's so weird. Why? Because I also feel so good being with him. It's not like there's a problem and I want to be alone. But I was like, why am I feeling so much better being alone in these moments? Remember I told you all this and I was like, I worked out, I was like, because I'm in my like connected listening and power in that moment. I wake up and I'm like, do I want a cup of tea?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even want one. So I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
Do you want a cup of tea? Okay, let me make that for you. But I don't want one right now. I was missing like that second part rather than just like merging into our joint field. And so I feel like I really got to train myself on that. So we're like two strong sovereign pillars coming in to then support each other, not like half a pillar trying to like remember it forgot it was a pillar or something, like, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's no resistance there from you because that's what
No.
you were
wanted
asking
it.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, because I've also had that macho before, you know, it's my way. I think we all men have that at some point and feel like, you know, we have a certain role or it needs to be in a certain way, you know, but I did work on that a lot in myself before, because I was never aligned to that, you know. I did have certain patterns, but yeah, I did burn them down. So when we were together and actually she was like surrendering, but it was like a false surrendering. It was like a, you
It was a
know,
disconnection,
artificial
actually.
surrendering,
Yeah.
because
Fake
it's like,
surrender.
yeah, whatever you want. But no, I'm like, where's the goddess? Like I did confront her with that, with love, but it was like, I can see you show up the goddess when I'm listening you talking to your clients, it's giving them an advice, doing a webinar, or even with me, when we're doing a webinar, we're both like boom, 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 or whatever, right? When we're teaching, she's in her goddess fully, but decisions or just regular day to day, I'm like, okay, there's an upgrade here. So I actually was craving it. Right. So it was
and you
was
wouldn't let me off the hook. I'd be like, where do you want to go for dinner? You'd be like, I don't know. I'd love to feel what you want to feel for dinner. And I'm like, okay. But you could really feel like when I was like, out of my center and out, not from a space of like divine feminine surrender where the man now leads. It wasn't that. It was actually me in my disempowered feminine.
Sure.
Yes.
So I'm really curious. You're obsessed with growth. You're obsessed with development. You're obsessed with depth. Where's the next level of growth for you guys when it's already so good? Like, what do you, where do you go?
Well, you know, I think where it goes is it just gets better, you know, and I'm not sure we know where it's going, like from our mind. I mean, I didn't even know where we are now, even 2 months ago, actually, even a week ago, even before we came here to Portugal, you know, so much has like clicked and anchored and people and this and that and opportunity. And it's like, it's a little mind blowing. But it's hitting in the right frequency and it's hitting in this place of expansion. And I think we're very clear on like what the expanded field feels like, but how it then happens, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know because I don't want to put the constructs of my or our minds into creating a limiting box in that way. Like we're in this flow right now. We're branching out to other industries that we've never really deeply been in before. There's so many pieces, you know, activating and turning on everything with wealth, with impact, visibility. So many layers, like that acceleration button, you know, but all I know is like the button's being pressed and the details will be revealed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel for both of us, it's very clear that it's opening, allowing the channel to open more than like us grow as human beings.
Yeah, it's like you said earlier, there's no stretching. We're not in a process of stretching. We're in a process of just being and allowing. And actually, if we get into stretching, like we come back to the being and the allowing.
Right? That's it. Because many times we both have got lost in like, okay, now I'm going to burn this and I'm going to do that. And yeah, it works and stuff. It comes from a different place though. So now it's more like allowing, we know, and the channels are opening, what we're receiving for us, for our families, for our community, for our clients, for the products we're sharing with the world, everything. But it's like, okay, we're here. Universe, God, nature, life, however we want to call this, flow. I'm open and receptive. Allow that to happen. And we both constantly are upgrading still, you know, like we both have this like, okay, feeling our nervous system being upgraded, our bodies being upgraded. Like when
Can you describe how that feels? Sorry.
Yeah. So for example, sometimes, I don't know, we wake up in the morning early and you're feeling a buzzing inside, like the heart opening or something in your brain.
Some people might tag as anxiety, by the way.
Yeah. Right. Or something in your brain or something like your body's trembling, for example, or you're purging a lot. All these thoughts come through, and it's actually a purge from all the old patterns from the mind. Like many people get lost in like, that's bad. I shouldn't be. Why am I feeling this? Why am I thinking that? But you're actually upgrading. And if you let this purge happen, then you go to the next level. You go to the next frequency. So it's these refinements where we're at, where we can't control. It's like, okay, we're ready. And in order to open up more, then there's that to release. Oh, that's great. Now that happened. And okay, now what's next? And it's like, I think both of us, we're both in that flow.
Yeah.
And we're kind of used to that's how it happens. And sometimes we're in peace for a while. Like, this is not that these upgrades happen all the time. Right.
But when you do, it's like you've got to catch the wave when this like amazing flow is happening, because it does oscillate. It's not like a constant knee, it's like there are acceleration points in the wave as well. And yeah, I feel like recently we've just kind of like been in this acceleration point and
nonstop.
And it's like wild and amazing. But even like a week ago, I swear, like every 30 minutes, my mind was almost like, whoa, like this is like a level of flow I've like never experienced almost, just with like what was anchoring and what was happening. There was a very important meeting with Mind Valley that was meant to happen in Germany, but then it got just like redirected and changed into Portugal. And then all of a sudden, all these other people in Portugal, and then I get to introduce these people, and all of a sudden this happens. Like you literally couldn't even try and create like how perfectly divine it was, and how easy it was, and how much fun everybody was having, and how I would think something and then someone would say it at the table, and then someone else would finish someone else's sentence. Like it was ridiculous with people that didn't even know each other.
Yeah, it was so beautiful because it was our family, from Mind Valley, which we've both worked for so many years. And it's our family in Mind Valley, and then our family in Portugal, which we've been cultivating the last 2 months, but they feel so family.
Yeah.
So for us, that to happen here without planning, that exploded. Like there were so many possibilities happening just from that, right? So again, we're observing with no control, just seeing where it goes, and then seeing it unfold in such a beautiful, graceful way. So that's been our life, I think. For a while, it just keeps flowing and flowing and growing.
The question I want to ask you, I know you're going to say, well, I don't put box on this, but it's on my heart, so I have to ask you. We're going to be in Peru in a couple of months' time.
Yes.
And see, is that... I am obviously already thinking about...
Stop it.
Stop thinking. Stop trying to control what you cannot control.
Stop it.
But I think there's a level of intention that is required when you're going to go and spend 10 days sat with the medicine. And I know that I can't control, but I am thinking, I said to you earlier on, I'm thinking about my intention. I am consciously thinking about where I want to upgrade.
Yeah.
And what I said to you earlier on was just... And it's funny because I heard myself so many times ask the question, how? And actually, when I'm doing my own work, it's always who. Who do I need to be to allow? But when I've been thinking about the medicine, I've been thinking about how do I be more love? How do I come from love more? And that actually feels like a scary intention to go and sit with, because my mind says you're going to have to let go of a lot of anger, of a lot of frustration, of a lot of resentment, a lot of the shadow that keeps you from being from that place. And so the question that you're going to shove back,
we're ready,
is what intentions are you holding for Peru? Now that I've just mentioned it and put it into your consciousness.
So you want to hear our intentions?
For the group or for us?
Both.
Both. I think it's always pretty much the same of, again, being a channel, being open, being receptive with everyone, starting with ourselves, compassion, love, and anything that's not there, because of course we're humans and we also have all these parts of ego that want to get on the way and fix and heal and let me do this and I'll heal you. All these parts that can come in. We're very aware of them and just seeing like, okay, allow them to burn because it's beyond us. We're just there holding space, keeping it safe, of course, doing our methodologies and everything. But this is beyond anything we can even do. It's more about guiding and allowing the person to and reminding them that it's about surrender. So really, it's our work. So I feel for both of us, it's really the service, clear the channel, the purity, like clear crystal. That's the word that comes to mind. Being a pure, just crystalline water there, reflecting everyone and anything that's in the water that's not in that clarity. Okay, burn it out as soon as possible so it doesn't get in the way. Yeah. And that I would say that's my intention, like on my body, on my channel. And for the group, I think it's like the same. I never go when I'm leading. We have our own personal retreats with the shamans, right? Where we do have a different intention. But when we're in a group, the intention is really always like, okay, we're here. It's like serve in the best way, just being channels of the divine, the universe, guide us. Yeah.
Yeah. It's service. It's really service.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, like, I'm literally more excited about this Peru trip than I have ever been for any other Peru trip.
Why?
I think it's because us two have been, I feel like our beingness has shifted proportionally more than it proportionally has in between any other Peru sector of not being on that retreat. So I feel like the acceleration that's taken place within that time versus before just feels really exciting for what's available to everyone in the field and the frequency. And that hasn't come from us just like we're living our life. Like we've been doing our work. Like we've been working on our voice every single day. Like we've been at it with this retreat in mind and an intention as well. So the fact that it also got like shifted and navigated to be a little bit like a few months later than it was meant to be, it's just all, I don't know, it's all so perfect and it feels so exciting and so lit up and so just full of light and expansion. And I'm always like looking forward to it, but I am really genuinely so much more excited than I usually am.
Yes.
I feel a bit nervous. I think that I had no idea last year. And now I have a little idea because I've had the experience.
Yeah.
And so now there are nerves this time that I didn't have last time.
Yeah.
And also because my experience was just so exquisite and such a masterpiece. There's a knowing that I have to release and be open to whatever is presented.
Yes.
But my mind is like, no, I want that. I want that again. I want that again. And I know that I'm not in control of that. So,
you're so aware though.
Yeah.
Suzy, we still both feel nervous when we have our own sessions too, like personal, and we go.
Especially like right before drinking the medicine for me, like you're holding the cup and there's a part of me always like,
you don't know where it's going to go. And that's the magic of it too. Okay, I allow, actually show me whatever needs to be, show me medicine. Like we have that connection, right? That you have so present with the medicine. And that nervousness I feel is just because of the big shift also. You're going to feel like your body knows, your soul knows. So it's like, okay, it's coming.
Yeah.
And I'm a new human being after this, like as it happened 1 year ago.
With this Peru retreat coming, like, you know how people have like flashbacks? I'm having like flash forwards.
Yeah.
I'm like, literally, I've been getting them and I see everyone in this retreat. And there's also, it feels like in the field, there's this element of like deep celebration, which is coming through this event, which it was there before, but it's so different. It's like so much bigger and it's like a grand party at some points, like a light show, like even more than ever before, you know? And I keep like having those flashes of those visions. I'm like, we're in Peru. Okay. Like, Yeah. But
And it's
again,
also a very special group.
Mm.
There's always
yeah.
super special, but I feel with years, the more we build the methodology and the
Mhm.
more, the more we attract like these people, these leaders that are just really
Yeah.
like creating
Because we
change
hold
in the
that
world.
field together. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this group is part of what excites me too. Is
Yeah.
like seeing all of us together,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
thriving in every way and going into wherever it needs to go to be to clear that, and then
Yeah.
go to the next level, and just that surrender. Oh, but as a group vortex, whoa, it's huge.
You said that you've been doing your work and been working on your voice. What do you mean?
We both have. We've both been really intentional around this. For me personally, on the 1st of January or the last day of last year, when was that fire? We were sitting around a fire somewhere around like New Year's Eve, around that point in time, with beautiful soul family in Costa Rica. And I made a very loud public declaration into the fire that this will be the year of fully expressing it all. all. And there was an intention around that specifically with my voice as well, in every sense of the word, from transmission to speaking to clients to relationship to music to everything, like everything that involves the voice, basically. Little did I know that would result in 5 dental surgeries throughout the year, removing teeth out of my system in order to create more space for these new frequencies to reverberate. So it definitely hasn't been like simple or easy. It's been full on. I had the 5th and fingers crossed last surgery like 3 days ago here in Portugal. So it's been a really deep upgrade, but also knowing that it's all connected. And it's like no joke that it happened like literally 1 week after that declaration was when the first tooth was like, okay, now I need to go. So we've been working really deeply, sometimes together and sometimes ourselves, working with different seed sounds in order to basically activate and wake up different chakra points and energy vortexes within the body. So we've been doing this for, I guess, over 200 days now, right?
Yeah.
Every single day,
Every
single
day.
day we've been in this practice, and we've been probably a good 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the day. But it's been a big focus point for us, and it's been
like singing, light language, music.
It flows every single day.
Yeah.
And chanting as well. We've been working with mantras and chanting every day as well, and specifically doing that to open up certain muscles and certain places within the field and the body. And it's been a really deep journey.
Yeah, because it's beyond opening the voice or expression. That's great. But it's also like whatever code or pattern has been set there from the past of you shut up.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. You're a liar, or you're stupid, or your voice is horrible. Like whatever that we both had
We
that
both
on our
had a lot
past.
of that.
So we've been going through that through the voice and allowing like the magic of the voice coming back to its natural state. We all have a beautiful voice to sing.
Yeah.
We all do. The thing is, first of all, nobody taught us how to refine a voice for it to sound natural and nice, first of all. And then whenever it sounded in whatever way and we got criticized, we got traumatized. And the majority of human beings, because we all want to be singers, we all do. We all dream like that's why the singers, we put them all in pedestals. But since we don't have the singer level of professionality, then I'm not a singer. Then just shut up. And we shut our voice, literally, our expression. And this comes then also with our expression of truth, our expression of what I am feeling and my intuition and my gut and like what I know. And I stop sharing because, oh my God, deeply unconsciously, I feel I'll be criticized, right? Like I feel it's such a human thing. So we've been refining that because we had been doing it with mindset, personal development, all the spiritual work, but through the voice, like new magical powers had unfolded for both of us.
And so many like openings in these subtle layers as well. Like it was just the other day, right? Probably 2-3 days ago, we were doing this chanting practice together. And at the end, I was like, "Oh, but can you hear that? Can you hear that?" And it was literally like someone was in the room singing with us, but it wasn't an overtone. You know, when you have a note and then you have like higher overtones, because the overtones match the note. They change when the note changes, but this was different. And it was this specific, like, beautiful melody. And it was literally like an unlock to the angel realm of like these angels, like, singing with us.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like in this lounge room at 7 a.m. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, so beautiful. But working through these subtle layers, we've had, I guess, different ways to access those rooms and different tools, but like to do this through sound vibration and frequency has been like really special, and also going into it together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's taken me back to Peru and being on my mat and just, the sound that was coming out of my voice was just
phenomenal.
So crazy.
Angels.
It was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited again.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, we transformed the nerves back into angel excitement.
Alchemy.
Yeah.
But I am curious. You said I have the intention from when I'm serving and I have the intention for the group, but we have our own ceremony first and I have a different intention for that. Are you already considering that, or if not?
Like our ceremony before?
Yeah.
Yes. We usually have 3 days.
We're actually
before.
doing it after this time though.
Yeah.
Because we're going to a wedding with you.
Yeah.
We're facilitating someone's wedding. We're marrying our friends.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a big mission.
It's a big mission. So we swap things around.
Yeah. And we're doing now 10 days, how we used to do before, because of our schedule and stuff. We're like, okay, we'll just do 3 days. But really, it's what you guys do. The 10 days, that's the magic. So we're like, okay, thank you. We're coming back to our 10 days, fully surrendered to the process in the jungle with the shamans, well, in the mountains where we go, beautiful fairyland. And we just fully surrender to it in full silence and allowing the medicine to do its work.
For 10 days.
Yeah. Sounds and like ceremony, like music basically, but no talking and full 10 days of silence. We've done this twice together before now.
Incredible.
Yeah. So the intention?
The intention, again, I just feel the calling of the channel being cleared. I feel there's so many codes and frequencies available right now to all of us. And for me, what keeps calling, it's like, keep upgrading, keep opening your capacity to receive, keep releasing blind spots that I can't even tell you where they are, but I know there's blind spots. I know I can feel them. They're always going to be there. If not, we wouldn't be in the body anymore if we wouldn't have blind spots. So I'm just so grateful to allow this to go even deeper. And I mean, every experience we've had with Tree of Light has been just incredible. It's like streams of light just flowing in every cell of our being. And it's a lot of energy coming through and a lot of upgrades, but I love it. So for me, it's like, okay, here we are. And we release and we open up to the next frequency. Show me. That's always my intention. Show me. Yeah, I'm here.
I'm available.
I'm available.
I'm open. Please show me. Please guide me. And pure light, just upgrading into that next embodiment of the highest frequency of light that's available.
Yeah.
Why no speaking?
Just to go more in.
Just to go more in. Especially for us, because we've been like giving so much, you know. So it's like, okay. And as a couple, you can also get lost, which we love, because we would talk forever. We're like best friends. We're like all day, all night. Like it's great. It's a great practice for us to be there, feel each other's energy.
I nearly died the first time we did this.
Yes.
Because you needed to speak.
I was the bad guy.
I needed to speak a lot. And then I got like super annoyed.
I was a tyrant.
That he like wouldn't engage in even trying to, because it's not just speaking, it's not communicating. I was like, I will write to you. So I started writing messages in my journal, and he just shuts the journal. Like it was literally holding up my journal, being like, hey, I want to tell you what happened in ceremony. And he like closes the journal and walks away. I get super pissed off.
Well, I also wrote down like, babe, remember.
So he just writes silence, all forms of silence, and closes the book. I was so annoyed for like 2 days, right? And then I surrendered and I'm like, okay, I get it. But like it was really hard spending that first
well,
time.
but these are the parts that come up,
Yeah.
right? That we're so used to.
Yeah.
And
part of me that didn't want to process inside. I have to like be seen and be heard and tell him and blah, blah, blah. And like get feedback and da-da-da. And what do you think about this? And, this whole thing, it's not even real if I don't share it with you. Like,
exactly. When you actually allow it and don't share it, it expands even more.
Isn't it funny? The introvert that like completely couldn't do the silence thing. And the extrovert was like, be quiet.
Because I love it. I'm so used to also silence when
Yeah.
it's silent, right? I'm usually extrovert, but I love it in my silence, in my meditations, it's like, the heaven for me. So it was very easy for me, right? I'm like, okay, heaven, but then I did struggle because she's I felt her so far away, you know, it's like, oh my God, like, oh yeah.
You're like, I'm closing down.
Yeah.
This is how you punish him.
Yes, exactly.
I did.
And I engaged until I'm like, okay, well, if it needs to be like that, I let her go.
Yeah.
I'm letting go of everything. Then this is part of it. That's it.
Yeah.
And you know, it all shifted, of course, but it was a great.
We survived. We made it.
It's a great exercise.
I have been exploring my relationship with distraction, which is wild. And obviously the world that we live in is set up to distract us all of the time. I'm curious, how much silence do you have in your everyday life? Like, are you creating pockets of time where you just are quiet? I don't think you watch Netflix, but do you watch Netflix?
No.
No. We watched a movie the other day.
We did. It was like an event.
I think we've watched like 3 movies together.
It's literally, I don't remember watching any other movies with you. I celebrated it like it was the first one. It was really fun.
We need to watch more movies.
It was like, what movie was it? Remember the name?
Will Smith.
Yeah, it was like a funny the Catch, maybe? I don't know. It was so funny and just stupid. And it was so fun to watch.
So fun. But
anyway,
we never really do that. We never, and we do have our spaces.
Yeah.
We do have constantly spaces of silence.
Definitely spaces.
And not only silence, because you could be silence and not listening. It's silence with an intention.
Intentional silence. And also, you know, sometimes like we'll say to each other, like even at night, like, babe, I'm in like silence right now. You know? And we're just like, okay. And we just know that. Again, like in the past, I would like take offense to that. I'd be like, why? What did I do? Why do you hate me? Why don't you want to talk to me? And then I'd find every single way possible to try and break his silence.
But now I tape,
like
now I tape my mouth.
He does. He sleeps with tape on his mouth. So I get so annoyed because he'll go, and then I give up and I'm like, okay, boring.
Are you taping your mouth because you don't want to breathe through your mouth?
Correct.
Exactly.
And he doesn't want to talk to me. He just puts tape on his mouth.
It's perfect because it's the perfect
I love the way
excuse.
Regan still does make it about her, even after all this time.
It has nothing to do, but it's also good.
Hey, sometimes you put the tape on like hours before you start. And he's like, I can't talk.
That's true, but I'm preparing for bed, you know, so that's why I do it. But
what, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
No, never. No, when we get to bed. But I used to just always breathe through my mouth, and it was really affecting. So it helped me so much, you know. Just put tape on your mouth, nice, thin, and oh my God, it's another level. I really recommend it to everyone just to see, because we're not even aware.
This is interesting because I was listening to a podcast the other day by a guy who has done a shed load of research on this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to me that I'm hearing it again so soon from you. How long have you been doing this?
Way too long.
3 years.
Wow.
And when I don't, I feel the difference. I feel I don't sleep as good. Like it's
I
crazy.
feel it helps you. I sleep with my mouth closed.
Yeah. So it's not for
without
everyone.
tape on it.
I tried the tape once. I took it off like 2 hours later.
She tried, she
Super
couldn't.
annoying.
And sometimes she does open her mouth.
No, I don't. I check.
I do. I have seen it, but let's leave it there. But again, not as me. Like I used to be, because I had problems with sinusitis.
Okay.
Right, as a kid, so I was so used to always through my mouth. And as an athlete, I was always working so hard, but always through my mouth. They never taught me to do it through my nose. So I was so used to all the time. It was my life. And it was so easy. Just breathe through your mouth. It's faster.
Yeah.
You
more
get,
oxygen.
Yeah. But it's not true. You're actually triggering your adrenal glands. You're actually triggering your sympathetic nervous system fully. And it's
so
a
your
full
body
imbalance.
is in stress.
Exactly.
It's in fight and flight,
So
basically.
you're not sleeping as well when you're breathing in through the mouth because your body thinks you're going to die.
And you're not
Survival
recovering
mode.
your nervous system and allowing it to reset fully.
Yeah. And your
And
adrenal
you're not
glands.
talking to your wife.
Yes. You're choosing your own wellness before you're putting the mask on before putting the mask to the loved ones, you know?
Yeah.
You know, on the plane when it's going to crash, and you take care of yourself first. So yes, that's what I'm doing.
Sometimes I hide his tape.
To punish him. If we talk for long enough, we will get all of the subversive little shadowy things that you do to punish him.
Yes. I do things too. I'm not an angel. I do a lot of things.
Thank you very much.
You'll be very proud of me. I have been doing ice baths.
Yes.
And it is my intention. Whilst I've been here, I've had cold showers, but ice baths every day. Well, I'm enjoying it.
Yes.
I was going to say every day for 30 days, but that's not even the intention.
One of them.
Oh, yes.
An ice bath.
Yes.
But I'm loving it. And the first time that I did an ice bath was at the Nest in your thing, and I got in. I did it. I was like in there for 30 seconds, and I was like, I need to get out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I enjoy the mini meditation.
Yeah. You did zone out.
Yeah. And you also shifted. I remember at the Nest, like it was hard for you, but you did. Like
I then went back
that's
in.
when you shifted and you, that's when you got it.
Yeah.
Right? When you go beyond that first, again, survival mode. Let me get out of here. It's too much.
Yeah.
Like, let me actually feel if there's something else.
Yeah. What are you doing with your body right now? Obviously, quantum flow.
Yeah. For me, quantum flow, I'm actually full on quantum fitness, developing this product very really with myself first, like the best, you know how I am, the most advanced quantum science, the most advanced quantum physics.
To use in the gym, like with
also
machines.
In the gym,
literally bringing
everything.
Like a spiritual fitness program to market that no one has seen before, and it's really cool.
Yeah, lose the weight in the fastest way, trigger your metabolism to be in its best shape.
Everything.
Yeah, using breath work, of course, and all the advanced techniques, all the techniques for the muscles to rip the muscle, but also to like make it strong and expand it. Like all of it, it has all but all coming from the same space of the quantum science, which I love, because I couldn't just teach a fitness class, you know, it wouldn't be my thing, but where there's something deeper happening underneath. I'm obsessed, you know, when I get there. So I'm spending hours just, researching and then using my body and teaching it. And so it's fun. Yeah. And I've seen amazing results in me and in clients and everything. So very, very excited to share this.
Yeah. I feel like the last time we met, it was almost like no rules. You guys had gone from being, you weren't ever vegan, but not eating a lot of meat, to eating red meat. You were like...
You were vegan at one point.
Okay.
For a hot minute.
Yeah, I was vegan for
vegan for a while.
Long time.
I was vegetarian for a longer time.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe you had drank, but maybe there was no alcohol for a while, and then there was alcohol. There was kind of like a no rules, everything goes. Is that still the vibe in terms of your health?
Yes and no. I think we're very intuitive, both of us. And for example, alcohol is not calling us anymore at all. Like we've had a little bit of here in Portugal because, oh my God, we found the green wine.
We found green wine. Apparently there's white wine, rosé, red wine, and green wine.
Why didn't we taste green wine?
We had to try the green wine.
Never.
No, but it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
having some sips
we're
here
flexible.
and there, but we feel our body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No rules. It doesn't feel right, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not because it's bad or good. We're still there.
Yeah.
But just it's been refined more to like listening to what our body wants. It's just more towards that side of clearing and you know, not coming anymore from like, I am this or I am that. No, that's totally burned for sure.
Yeah.
No more tags. It's more intuitive eating and being.
And eating like natural foods, whole foods.
Yeah, always.
Things that have one ingredient, not 50.
Yeah.
And something important for people just to research, just the seed oils. We've been very aware, and I know it's now something in the internet. Like we woke up to them, like I would say 2 years ago, and really I've been shifting it so much until now. We go to every restaurant. It's like, hey, we're allergic to seed oils. We don't like.
Can't eat them.
That's a no brainer for
Just
us.
olive oil, avocado oil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Butter, if you want,
ghee.
coconut oil, ghee.
And that's it.
Tallow, even tallow from
yeah.
animal, it's amazing. You don't need much, it's a little bit, but the seed oils and how they process them and what it creates in your brain and your nervous system. Oh my,
and it takes years for one bit of seed oil to leave your body.
We could talk forever. But the biggest thing we've seen, like for example, we don't burn anymore in the sun. Like if you have seed oils, your skin is sensitive to the sun, it burns. Like now we don't burn. I mean, we can get a little red, but it's not like before, like those huge sunburns. It's all about the seed oils. To name one of the things apart, like brain fog and not being able to focus and like even emotional imbalance, like it can affect every layer of your being. It's very interesting. So we've both been very, very like just concerned around that. But I think that's mostly it, you know? Yeah.
Do you fast?
Yeah.
Intermittent fasting?
Yeah.
Yes, but for me personally, I've flipped it. So I used to fast in the morning, as you know, and not eat until sometimes 12, 1, 2 p.m. But we've kind of totally changed that. Now, like, not when we're here in Portugal, because there's a million dinners at 8 p.m. But usually, like in Costa Rica, like we would have our last meal around 3 or 4 p.m. usually. And then, so we're fasting from then until the morning. And then we're having something in the morning. So
8 a.m. smoothie or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, because we also felt when we were doing our workout,
we do
want
power.
more power. And also I was feeling personally, I was taxing my nervous system a lot, like doing a lot of physical work and not having like, it's not necessary.
And it's the same. I was focusing on building muscle and then I was like, why am I going faster to the gym? This doesn't make any sense. So we fast, but like the opposite way now. The fasting window changed.
It's always important for us, at least 12 to 14 hours to leave for the body to process, digest, detoxify, do its work, and not us bombarding it with food. So that's very natural for us. We actually love it. We forget about food. Even sometimes it's 18 hours, 20 hours. It's not hard
sometimes
for us.
on planes even we'll just not eat and we'll just have water and green powders and things like that and charge ourselves up. Bone broths, miso soups, things like that. And it's just better than any plane or airport food. Even if you're sitting in first class, it's still like terrible food. So
no jet lag. That's the way we've seen. There's no jet at all.
We've reset jet lag completely through fasting.
Not 1 minute.
You know, if you're jet lagged, you're not jet lagged, you're dehydrated.
So you're just focusing on making sure that you're drinking enough water.
And absorbing
it.
So again, drinking hydrogen water, actually like absorbing the water and then getting good nutrients, minerals, everything else in there. And the less then you can put your body in like full digestion of probably like the bread or whatever you eat on the plane or the airport. All of that clogs your system and then doesn't help you. We should look this up. There's some sort of statistic for every hour you're in the air on the plane.
It's like quarter of a litre.
Yeah, you lose like a ridiculous amount of water.
Well, actually, I read that you are supposed to drink quarter of a litre.
You lose litres per hour. We should find out what that fact is. It's crazy.
We read it once somewhere and never wrote down the fact, but it is crazy. So that's what we have. We're like, hey guys, no, we're not gonna eat anything. We need big bottles of water. Constantly, just so you know. That's our only request. And they're like, okay.
They're like, all right.
But you don't want this? Nothing.
Sparkling? No, normal water.
Not even sparkling, because as you know, the minerals, again, your body after a while doesn't know how to process them. So you can have a little.
I only learned this today.
Yeah, we know.
This blew my mind.
we used to take so much of it because we love it, right? What we do now, for example, is like we take non-mineral water, like from the land or whatever, spring water, and we have the machine to do them, right? So you can still do that, but it's not the one that's coming from the spring that usually has so much sediment on it that your kidneys don't know what to do with it. After a while, of course, you're not going to see it until years, but that's where kidney stones, for example, come from, or most of it. So it's important to just be aware of it.
Yeah.
But lots of water, lots of hydration, fruits. you need it. We eat some fruits, juicy fruits, right? And that's it. And we love it. We take it as an adventure.
On the plane, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we go on the plane, it's that whole mission, and we're super grounded. We have our grounded machines too. You go and we plug in, the grounded sheet or the grounded mat. And we have a special
the EMF protector.
The EMF protector that's emitting the signal. So wherever we go to the lounge, we put
we're basically freaks when we walk through an airport.
Yeah.
Like really, if you saw us, if you like followed us with a camera on like a long haul flight, people would be like, these guys are so weird.
Crazy.
We're like, in first world business, they're offering us all this alcohol. We're not touching any of it. We don't want the food. They're always super worried about it. They're like, what's wrong? Is there something you don't like? Could I make you something else? We're like, we just want the water. They're like, oh my God, like, is this a trick? Like, what's happening? So we do all of that. We ground right away when we get off the plane. And I think our other like jet lag piece is before we leave, we always get in the time zone of where we're going to. So if we're in New Zealand and we are going to LA and we board the flight, for example, in the morning in New Zealand, but it's 10 p.m. in LA, even if it's the morning for us, we're like, we're going to sleep. And so the rest of the plane's like in the light and we like literally make ourselves go to sleep. We take CBD, we drink magnesium, we're
melatonin.
Like, bye-bye, melatonin, put on headphones and like try and sleep 8 hours, even though if they're like serving breakfast, we're like, no, we're going to sleep. So we try and always get in that natural cycle of where we're going.
I was going to say, do you use the glasses?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's like the blindfold you put to sleep, like, so we're disconnected.
Noise cancelling headphones, even if there's nothing playing on them, just to cancel out the noise.
Yeah.
And then we go to sleep.
And we do usually sleep. We've trained our bodies to do this. It's like, hey, I'm the master of the temple here.
Yeah.
We're going to sleep, baby. Take your melatonin so that that gives the signal to the brain that, oh, okay, it's night. I'm supposed to produce this. So, okay, let me produce it. And we come right into the moment of the time zone where we're going into, like, with ease, grace, and flow.
It sounds weird to say this, but I realize only now, just addicted to feeling good,
Oh, yeah.
And I think what is interesting is that until you have to get past this feeling of I'm depriving myself.
Yes.
So with alcohol for a long time, I was like, but I celebrate with champagne and that makes me feel good and it's fun and I can do all of these things. And it's only this time since I've not been drinking and actually even forgot that I'd stopped drinking, which is a great sign that I definitely don't need it in my life.
Yeah.
I just realized how good it feels to feel good. And you don't realize that you don't until you do, if that makes sense.
For sure. That's a good addiction. That's the best.
Yeah.
The real feel good. Because again, as you're saying, temporarily you take the alcohol and we could celebrate, we could try the green wine, but we know it's not there. The happiness is not there. We don't get drunk then because we know actually next day we're going to feel it. So it's a taste that we love. It's a celebration. It's being in the vibe, but it's just a little bit, not enough. And because we're, again, committed to being in that vibration that alcohol can't give you.
Yeah.
Nothing actually outside can give you. Yeah.
I could keep you here all evening. I've got no idea how long we've been talking.
Let's go to dinner. We'll continue at dinner.
Let's celebrate.
I love you so much. Thank you both for giving me your time and sharing so openly and just as you are. Can you tell people where they can find you all over the internet? On the internet.
Yes, we're there.
I think you can find us through our names and pretty much on every platform you'll probably look on. And for me, it's reganhillyer.com. And yours is not your name on Instagram.
Well, the very complicated name that you may be right. It's Juan Pablo Barahona. Maybe you can share with them. But in Instagram, it's actually JuanPa with J, JuanPa_global.
Yeah.
So that's Juan Pablo has taken over many hundreds of them. So I created that one.
Worldwide, baby.
You're everywhere, all over the world.
I love you. You're amazing. If
you so
have loved this episode, then please tag us on Instagram. Share this episode with a friend. And I look forward to being in your earbuds next time. And in the meantime, please remember that faith plus action equals miracles.
Oh, thank you so much.